Hello and welcome back to Star Wars The Living Set. Will, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Awesome. So we are back again with 4 new cards tonight. We're in the Vikings jersey. They happen to get a win at home. Doesn't happen very often, so you got to celebrate that, which was pretty cool on that part. So, all right, 4 new cards coming at you today. So don't forget, anytime you want to check out the cards, 2 new cards every single week on Topps.com. We are still reviewing cards from the artist Chris Penix. He's still doing all 4 of these. Eventually that will change, but for now it's still all 4 from Chris. So let's go right away to card number 71, Admiral Ackbar. So Admiral Ackbar, of course, is a Mon Calamari, and he first appeared in Return of the Jedi. He was actually voiced by Eric Bowersfield. I don't know Eric. And he was made up the voice on the spot after kind of seeing what the character looked like. They actually did drawings and they did it. So let's go into some stats real quick. They made 1,041. 41 have been graded by PSA. 40 PSA 10s, and 1 PSA 9. Now, in Return of the Jedi, when you see Ackbar on screen, it's either a puppet or it's actually like a full-body person in a full-body costume, depending on the angle. The interesting part is he was a very popular character coming out of Return of the Jedi. Has a very popular meme.
It's a trap.
It's a trap is exactly right. However, he only has 14 lines of dialogue, and he's only on the screen for 3.5 minutes of the entire first 3 movies.
Wow.
Yet he's an internet sensation. Some may call him an influencer. Pretty interesting. So the other interesting thing around Admiral Ackbar, a lot of backstory that came about him through the books, through different TV shows. He is also in Force Awakens at the headquarters of the Resistance. And apparently the cast and crew were very excited to hang out with Admiral Ackbar, which I thought was pretty interesting. And of course, in The Last Jedi, he dies on the Star Cruiser. Was it Radis? Radis? I think it's Radis.
Radis.
Yep, he dies there. He's also a very popular character in the Heir to the Empire books written by Timothy Zahn. A really good character. So if you haven't read those, again, awesome things to check out. And then we had to throw it in this set. His son is actually in Star Wars The Living Set.
Really?
Aftab Ackbar.
Huh.
That's his son. Didn't even know that.
Interesting.
So again, a pretty interesting character, a pretty popular character. Obviously, when you think about how long the Mon Calamari people were actually on the screen in the first 3 movies, not very long, but they became a great backstory about how they built all the Star Cruisers, about how they were a great support to the Resistance.
Yep.
And then we see them in a lot of other movies.
We also see them in a lot of Clone Wars as well.
Yeah, a lot of Clone Wars. Of course, big key characters in Rogue One when they helped to the attack as well. So definitely great with Admiral Ackbar. And don't forget, it's a trap. All right, card number 72. Will, we're going to go to you for Young Boba Fett. Tell us about Young Boba Fett.
So, Young Boba, the only time we see him as Young Boba, is in Attack of the Clones. So, they made 1,158. 27 have it graded, 10 PSA 9s, and 17 10s. The actor is Daniel Logan.
Yep.
Also in Sharknado.
Sharknado the 4th. As Captain Fett, apparently. I've never seen a Sharknado movie. Have you?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
But I mean, Boba Fett.
Yeah, that was kind of a playoff on that one, is what they did on that one. Yep.
Boba is an unaltered clone of Jango Fett. Basically, he wanted to have, kind of he's almost like kid, but not really kid. So basically, when Jango gave, all his, DNA and all that stuff to create the clones,
yep,
they added, the Kaminoans added in all this other stuff, like growth thingies.
Growth acceleration, I think is what they call it, yeah.
Things to, help them follow orders better.
Yep.
But Boba was completely unaltered, was just a basic clone, no other extra stuff, grew at a normal rate.
Yep.
Yeah. But we only see him for a little bit as Young Boba. We only see him for a few scenes. We see him in Camino, and then we see him on Geonosis.
Yeah.
When he actually watches as his father is killed, which is kind of dark.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But then that's really...
He was also in Clone Wars.
He was in Clone Wars, yes.
Yeah. Now, again, this is the live version of Young Boba Fett, but also in Clone Wars is correct, yes.
He looks a lot different in Clone Wars, but...
Yeah. Again, pretty interesting. Again, we go back to thinking Boba Fett introduced in Return of the Jedi, where, again, really not like a line or two, very little time.
I think he said, 1 or 2 lines. Yeah. It was he's no good to me dead, something like that.
Yeah, and then you think about how they expanded the Boba Fett character, right? So
they expanded it so much. Yeah,
an Attack of the Clones, and then on the Clone Wars, and of course, now Boba Fett's got his own TV show, so he's pretty popular at this point.
I remember when we first saw him, in the episode, at the end of the episode of Mando.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is that? And then everybody was like, oh my gosh, it's Boba. And I was like, but is it?
Yeah.
But then I realized it is. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's Boba.
Yeah, pretty cool how they expand the character. So again, a pretty cool card with young Boba Fett. I especially like kind of some of his interactions with his dad Django, of course, when they're on Camino. I thought that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
All right, anything else on young Boba Fett?
I don't think so.
All right, card number 73, C-3PO. Now, C-3PO, holy cow! Like when you try to dig up some information on C-3PO,
you find way too much.
there's so much information out there. So I tried to break this down to a little bit more, maybe things I didn't know, which I thought was interesting. So, all right, first off, they made 1,156, 40 PSA 10s, 10 PSA 9s, and 29 PSA 10s. This card is actually from Return of the Jedi. Is this C-3PO? However, for the most part, he looks the same, except for when he gets that new red arm.
I believe you might have recognized me because of my red arm.
Correct. Interesting, though. So C-3PO has been in 11 of the 12 Star Wars full-length feature movies.
There's one that he's not in.
Do you know which one?
Solo.
Good job.
And R2-D2 as well.
Correct. He was played by Anthony Daniels. Of course, built by Anakin when we first saw him in Phantom Menace. And of course, as we all know, he's fluent in over 6 million forms of communication. Interesting, so George Lucas talked about C-3PO, originally designed as an American con man, but Lucas changed his mind after Daniels beat out 30 other people for the part, and then they kind of changed how he was. Also, some interesting things about C-3PO. There's actually some cut scenes from Attack of the Clones, where apparently Padme was putting plating on C-3PO. Because remember, in Phantom Menace, he says, "My parts are showing."
Yeah.
Yep. So interesting. That was a cut scene. He's also been a voice of C-3PO in the Lego Movie.
Yep.
He's also in Ralph Breaks the Internet. He also has a very famous card in the 1977 set. And from the 14-year-old that just laughed about that one, go check that one out. The actual suit was actually custom created by a plaster mold. So they actually put Anthony Daniels in like an entire thing of plaster to make this. Interesting. They had to replace parts all the time. We're going to put some pictures on this one. He also had panic attacks. Because if you think about it, he's inside this little metal thing all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty interesting.
Can barely move, can just go like this. Oh, yeah, that would be...
Yeah, pretty scary. So we're going to put some pictures above us here around some of the things. I'm also going to put a video in the link today in our description. Kind of just a really cool video about C-3PO, about Anthony Daniels. I would also recommend, if you haven't watched all of Ahsoka, keep an eye out. You might see C-3PO in that one. All right, so again, we could spend days on C-3PO.
Oh my gosh.
He might come back again later, but again, cool character. And Will, we're going to turn over to you for the last card of the day. Card number 74, Lady Proxima.
So Lady Proxima is like the weird worm lady thing from Solo, who's like the crime boss or whatever.
She is a crime boss, yep.
Yeah. We don't really know what she is at the very beginning, but we don't see her at all. So just kind of like a minor character, but also plays a semi-biggish part.
Yep.
But yeah, first we're going to stats. So they made 959, 26 have been graded, 9 PSA 9s, and 17 PSA 10s.
Yep.
The voice is Linda Hunt.
That is correct, yep.
Is in 54 different shows and or movies.
Not Lady Proxima, but Linda Hunt is.
Not Lady Proxima, but Linda Hunt.
Yep.
She had the Academy Award of Best
Supporting Actress in a movie called Year of Living Dangerously. And the reason why I included this one, which is interesting, so Linda Hunt actually played the opposite sex. So she actually played a male character, and she was the first person to ever win an award while doing that, which I thought was pretty interesting. I've never seen the movie Year of Living Dangerously, which is not the same as Johnny Dangerously. That was a different movie. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing about Linda Hunt, though. Yeah.
And then, what was that say?
So Linda Hunt was also in a movie called Kindergarten Cop. So I don't think you've ever seen this one. This is a movie from the 90s. If you guys remember Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, she's actually the teacher, and she's also on CSI. Kind of a small little woman is who she is. But I thought that was, again, kind of some interesting parts about who Linda Hunt is.
And then more about Lady Proxima, the actual character. She's from Corellia, formed.
Yep. The White Worms. That's the name of their. Yep.
That's the name. Oh yeah.
That's their gang, I think.
That's
their
gang name.
Yep.
And the species is a Grindalid.
I think we're gonna go with Grindalid. Yeah.
Grindalid.
Yeah.
I think so.
Pretty interesting. Yeah. Anything else on Lady Proxima?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting, that character. You know, again, Han picks up the rock and click, click. Yeah, and then just throws it through the window. Obviously, the Grindelids have a hard time with the sun or the light or whatever that may be. So
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting, kind of a cool character.
Mhm.
All right, so very quickly, what is your favorite card this week as far as the art? What is your favorite one?
Art-wise,
Yeah.
I'm either gonna say Boba
Yep.
or Ackbar.
I think I'm going Ackbar. I mean, pretty tough to get the scale and to kind of to draw that and paint that. So shout out to Chris Penix again for Admiral Ackbar. That's my favorite one of the week. Nice job again, Chris. And again, thank you guys for watching our channel. We really appreciate it. If you're interested in the cards, 2 new cards every single week at Topps.com. Star Wars The Living Set. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.